Hey guys, and welcome to this brand new episode on Keycloak. If we look at the standalone.xml file of Keycloak, you will realize that the username and password configuration defined within the standalone.xml for the default data source is mentioned in the clear text format. Now this could be a security risk. In this video, I am going to show you how to externalize this information using the JBoss Keycloak's vault option. So the very first step is to create a sample Java project using Maven's pom.xml. I imported this project into IntelliJ, and let me just walk you through the dependencies. The very first dependency is the JBoss AS parent. This is very much required in order to import the required dependencies for our Vault plugin. The next set of dependencies are related to the JBoss logging, JBoss modules, common CLI, and the Piketboss. Let's just ignore that. The next thing which is very much important is configuration of the Maven assembly plugin. So as you can see, I have configured this Maven assembly plugin and then I have attached it to an execution goal. That's very much required in order to generate the output in the required format that can be deployed inside the JBoss Keycloak. Let me just open the assembly.xml file as well. You will see that I defined few things wherein I am redirecting the output to an output directory and copying a particular file. So this is a required structure that need to be generated using the Maven. I will provide this entire project within my GitHub repository and the link of the same will be provided in the video description. Now enough of this XML file. Let's go ahead and look at the Java file. So I'll open the custom Keycloak vault. You will see that I have implemented an interface which is provided by the JBoss. It is called as security vault. Let me expand the import section so that we can see the package name as well. So it is offered by org.jboss.security.vault. So yes, this particular implementation is not specific to Keycloak, but it can be used with your JBoss server as well. So there are a few things that we need to override. There is a method called as init. Now this is a very first method that is invoked by the JBoss server when the server is getting initialized. Out here, you can provide a custom logic which will be responsible to fetch the configuration required in order to start your server. In my case, I'm going to define a variable called as finished init. The initial value assigned to this variable is false. And inside init, I'm going to set the value to true. Let's go ahead and create one more variable called as properties. So I will create a private instance of properties. This is from java.util. Let me call it as props. Let me assign it a value. Props is equal to new properties. And inside this, I'm going to populate one value, props.setProperty. Let's call it as db_password. And for the time being, we are going to source this value from an environment variable. So system.getEnv. Let's call this environment variable as env_db_password. You can very well extend this example and retrieve the values from HashiCorp's vault, or you can also use AWS Secret Manager. It totally depends upon you. But just to keep it simple, I'm going to refer the value from the environment variable. So I'll just save that. Then there is another method called as isInitialize, wherein JBoss tries to check whether this particular vault plugin is ready to source the values. In this case, we are using the variable that we had defined earlier, the finish init. And in the case the init method successfully gets completed, the value of finish init is going to be true. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the methods. Now there is another method called as keylist. This requires the set of keys that will be exported by this particular vault plugin. Let me just hardcode this key for the time being. So I will use this db_password arrays.aslist db_password. This is a key which is stored within our properties. So just make a note of that. Then there are other methods. We are not going to touch that. The next important method is retrieve. Now this is the actual method which will be used by JBoss to retrieve the value. So what will happen in our case is that we are going to refer to a variable called as attribute name, which will help us to retrieve the value from our properties instance variable. So this .props.getProperty, or you can say get, it's called getProperty, which requires attribute name. This will be the name of the property that we are going to source. This will give us a value. So let me just create a variable called as value. and the output should be a char array. So I'm going to convert value dot to char array. All right. Now I'm not going to make it more complex. I'm just going to keep it very simple. So the exist method is always going to return true. You can experiment with these methods. You can look at what kind of values that are passed within the vault block or attribute name. You can do that afterwards. Also, there is a remove. We are not going to implement that. We're just going to simply throw an exception. Let me just save this particular file. Also, let me open the resources, and inside that we have a file called as vault module.xml. Now this is also an important file because this is a file which will be read by the JBoss when it is loading this plugin. And there are a few things which we need to strictly follow. This root tag of this particular file has to start with a module. Then it needs to have a name. So we have given a name as com.carbonrider.keyclock.vault. Inside that, we are referring to our jar file, which will be generated by the Maven assembly. The name is keyclock-vault, and then there is a project version. Then there are a set of dependencies that we require. So I mentioned those dependencies as well. It will vary depending upon the code that you are going to write. Also, this resources section will vary depending upon if you are going to use AWS Secret Manager. This need to undergo a change. All right, we are done with the configuration. Let's go ahead and create the deployable package for our Vault plugin. So I'll just click on the terminal and then I will make sure that I am inside the right directory. Okay, let me fire Maven clean command first. This will clean any previously built packages. Then I will fire Maven package. Now if you're running this command for the very first time, it will download the required dependencies and it will take some time. Now in our case, everything is good. And we can see that it has actually created a zip file inside a folder. So I'll just copy this particular path. And let me open Windows Explorer, wherein I'm just going to refer to that particular path. And if I just go to the target folder, you will see that we have keyclock-vault 1.000 distribution.zip file. My bad. Okay, we are not going to deploy this zip file as is because we are supposed to deploy the content inside that. So you'll find that there is a folder structure. Now this is a main folder, modules. Inside that, you will see that our package structure is getting created. And inside the main folder, we have a module.xml and keyclock vault 1.0.00.jar. The module.xml file is nothing but the file that we have seen just now, the resources one. Okay, I'll just close this. And the jar file contains the required classes for our plugin. Now the next thing that we're supposed to do is to configure this Vault plugin inside the standalone.xml. So I'll just go back to Notepad++ and you'll see that I have added a new section called as Vault, followed by an attribute called as code. Now this code requires the complete path name or the qualified name for the class that we have created. So the package name is com.carbonrider.keyclock.vault. And the name of the class is custom keyclock vault. Let's just verify it inside IntelliJ. So I'll just scroll this. Okay, we have package name as com.carbonrider.keyclock.vault and the class name is custom keyclock vault. Okay, that matches. Then the next thing is the module, and the module has a value as com.carbonrider.keyclock.vault. Again, I will just go back to the IntelliJ, and if I'll just look inside vault module.xml, I have the same name for the module. So this is very important. If you make any mistake, it will be very difficult to identify the problems when the JBoss is getting started. All right. And the next thing is the vault option. Now this is completely optional. If your program requires certain kind of external information that need to be provided, you can configure this. Let me just remove it for the time being. And I will just save this particular configuration. Now we need to refer to this particular vault inside our code. So if I just scroll down and if I try to search keyclock DS, which actually has a configuration for our data source, you will see that we have a username and password. Let me just change the password because that is what we are configuring inside the vault. So the syntax is $vault. This is, again, you have to note it down. The next attribute is any random name that you want to give it if you are going to programmatically use it inside IntelliJ's code. Let me just go back to the custom keyclock vault. You will see that there is a section called as vault block and attribute name. So this vault block is nothing but the second value that we are going to specify. Now in our case, we are not using it, so I can give any random value to it. So let me just call it as key store. And the next thing is the actual attribute that we require to be replaced over here. So I'll just again go back to IntelliJ, and the attribute name is db_password. So we want the value of this particular attribute to be replaced over here. And the final block is nothing but a number. Now this number is very important. In case if you are retrieving a value, the number has to be 1. Okay, and the final thing is the closing of the curly brackets. Let's just save the standalone.xml, and I'll just go back to our folder wherein we had generated the distributable zip. Let me open that zip file. All right, I'll just right click on this 7-zip, open the archive. We have a modules folder. Now we need to drag and drop this particular folder inside our Keycloak installable. So you'll see that I am inside Keycloak, and the directory structure looks like this. Out there is already a modules folder. We need to replace this modules folder with the modules folder that we generated. Note that it is actually going to add the contents, so don't worry if there are any existing contents, it is not going to impact that. So if I just go inside modules, then I'll go to com, carbon rider, Keycloak, vault, main, our jar file is there, the modules.xml is also there. Alright, so we are done with the configuration, we are done with the copying the files inside the Keycloak installation. Now let's go ahead and test our configuration. So I am inside a command prompt and I have opened the Keycloak installable folder. Let me just expand this window. And let's define this variable. So we have an environment variable that we are referencing inside our code. The environment variable name is set or the envdb password. Now let's just use the set command and then assign a value to it. The default value is SA. I will just press enter, and now let's go ahead and try to execute the batch file. Since I'm on Windows, I'm going to execute the standalone dot. Alright, I made a mistake. It has to be / bins / standalone.bat. Now if we just execute this file, and let's see whether our Keycloak is getting started. So far so good. And yes, the server is actually getting started properly, and you can see that the server is saying it is started and it is listening on this particular port. So it looks good. Let me just change the value and we'll verify whether our configuration is working properly or not. So we have SA as a value. I'm going to change it to SA1, and then I'm again going to execute the standalone.bat file. Now this time the server should not get started, it should fail. Alright. And yes, the server has actually failed. So our environment variable is getting referred inside the plugin that we have created. Let me just roll back the value to SA. Let me restart it again. Okay, looks good. And the server is getting started. Hibernate has been initialized, and yes, the server has got started. So that's all for today's video. We learned how to configure the Vault plugin inside JBoss Keycloak and externalize the configuration. Now in this case, I just configured a one single property, but you can extend this example, and then all the required properties that are there that need to be externalized, you can very well configure this using the approach that we discussed over here. In the next video, I will talk about how to make use of AWS Secret Manager along with the JBoss Keycloak Vault plugin that we have created. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Till then, take care and build something.